Motor Speedway, the venue for the opening round of the 2001 American Le Mans Series. GT pole for Lucas Luhr and Sascha Maassen in their Porsche. That's Lucas Luhr's third in a row. The LMP 675 pole, taken by Mel Hawkins, of Scottsdale, Arizona, in the Lola B2K Nissan. That's the only P675, the smaller prototype class car in the field, and that car suffering with overheating problems already. Well, as you can see, no Oreca Team Vipers this year, but there are privateer Vipers and privateer Corvettes, and plenty of Porsches still in the GT class. Downforce at the back of the car was found to be too far off the ground, generating too much downforce. As a result, their times were disallowed. So it's the Capello and Christensen Audi that leads. The white car on the bottom side of the racetrack, that is Magnussen and Brabham in the new shape car. And alongside the black car, that is the Graf and Sales Panos, trying to go around the outside. Frank Biela starting from the back, and here he comes. That's the number 2 machine of Frank Biela, trying to work his way there past the 675 class Lola Nissan, which he does, and well up the GT field as well. He'll pass 8 cars in the first lap alone. Biela obviously hoping to start from pole position and run away, as Audi managed to do in the race last year, but not able because of that small indiscretion in tech. And that was just some few millimeters away from the regulation. There are the 2 Callaway Corvettes, I beg your pardon, the 2 Works Chevy Corvettes, which qualified in 6th and 7th place. And Biela firing his way up the field past one of the new shape BMW M3s. 2 teams running M3s here. The PTG team run by Tom Milner that we were used to seeing in last year's championship, but also have gone back from the prototype class, the Schnitzer BMW team. They're also running M3 cars, and they will be debuting their new M3 GTR at the 12 Hours of Sebring. And the number 17 car is the Trinkler and Altenberg car. Owen Trinkler and Jeff Altenberg. Owen Trinkler owns the car, and that is a car they've been building up for 2 years. Originally they had intended to be racing in the 2000 series, but unable to make it, and at the moment running with a barely modified street stock engine. The engine builder hoping to get them a decent engine together in time for the Sebring 12 Hours. And here you're looking at JJ Lehto racing in the American Le Mans Series, not in the front-running BMW prototypes, with which he won races in '99 and led the points in 2000, but in the M3 machine. Look at that to find out what the damage is. A spin for the 98 Porsche, and it wasn't just on their own that the Rick Polk and Kurt Wagner car was involved in that spin, because the BMW coming down the inside, and Rick Polk sharing with Kurt Wagner. Kurt Wagner, incidentally, the 1999 ALMS GT class champion. And down the inside went the 42 car, of course, the same number JJ Lehto and Jörg Müller had on their prototype class car last year for the Schnitzer team. 42 and 43 were their prototype numbers, and the 42 number carrying on with the Schnitzer team. It's David Brabham ready to get in, but trouble down at the chicane off the front stretch on the NASCAR oval. Staying in and double stinting, but not quite so quick away. Riding again with Dindo Capello in traffic now. Ahead of him, hey, it's an Audi, so there's been a change during the pit stops. And on board in the GTS class, you can see how quickly the prototypes get away on the banking and down these long NASCAR stretches. The infield section not ridiculously tight, and it's a good, fast, open racetrack. Their only problem last year was the intense temperature, and that's why we're starting the race here. Incidentally, high knife, it said on the roll cage there of the Corvette. That was high to Chris Kneifel, who, a former Corvette member, has just been appointed in the chief steward job at CART for their Champ Car Series for the year, and has had to leave the Corvette team as a result. Here in the BMW, Hans Stuck. And there is the Corvette team. They remember their roots, these guys. So the yellow flags for the debris that you saw, instigating the second set of pit stops, and then they go green for racing the field, nicely bunched again. It's even as much as the thundering V8s of the Panos LMP1 machines. Of course, the new Panos, the 07 with its purpose-built 4-litre V8 racing engine, not the stock block-derived engine. You're looking here into the GT class, of course, still predominantly the domain of Porsche's 911 GT3R. And this year, the official Works Porsche-supported entry is the Alex Job Racing Team, who won the championship 2 years ago with Kurt Wagner. And last year, it was Dick Barber Racing that won the championship. Their GT cars soundly beating the BMWs, the new BMW for 2000 of the PTG team. And now they've got a different set of M3s to worry about, in addition with the Schnitzer cars. And you can see in the top, still Andy Wallace in 4th place, going strongly as Sascha Maassen leads the GT class in his Porsche. Well, the BMW's taking the battle to Porsche in the GT class. Such is the closing pace and such is the phenomenal braking ability of the prototype cars that they do take phenomenal liberties with the slower machinery, and they normally get away with it. The Viper Racing team, Joe Weikart and massive impact on the backstretch for the number 2 Corvette. And that will absolutely destroy the car. Huge impact. Well, it will have torn off razor-sharp shards of glass fibre, bits of aluminium, bits of steel, fractions of alloy wheel and everything else strewing the racetrack. You can see already one of the vet team members there, the GM crew. Urgent need now to find out why that happens, to rule it out as a freak incident or not, as the case may be. Christensen leads in prototypes, Corvette in GTS, Porsche in the GT class. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, the American Le Mans Series race continues. A full course yellow after a phenomenally heavy impact for the number 4 Corvette. Fortunately, no injury at all to Kelly Collins. Now they're back with green, and it's Audi first and second. On board with the number 6 BMW M3 of Boris Said and Hans Stuck in the middle of the lineup, and just watch the GTS and the prototype cars peel up high onto the banking and cruise past everybody else. 8th in GTS for Ron Fellows, came in to the pits from the lead and has gassed the car ready to go. And Fellows, who won a crushingly hot and devastatingly difficult race here in 2000 against the might of the Oreca Vipers. The first win for Corvette, having narrowly failed to win the previous race at Mosport Park, his home track, would be desperate to win here again in the GTS class. Fellows breezed by there by Eric Messler and Terry Borchella. Borchella, a long-time sparring partner of Fellows, as they went past in the American Viper racing car. And looking back again, there is the PTG BMW. And that is the number 6 Stuck and Said machine. And here comes the yellow Panos. Look at this, flying by. And that is the Richard Dean machine that he shares with Jay Cochran. And here comes another of the protos. And that is the champion Audi, screaming by. Walter Salas in 4th, Dorsey Schroeder 5th, Richard Dean in 6th place. There he is in the yellow car. Sascha Maassen leading the GT class. And Schroeder now giving the car free rein as he looks to the inside and gets the move put in on Richard Dean. And now the fight back continues. Richard Dean is trying to stay on his tail, but Schroeder puts a Porsche between them. And Richard Dean in his first drive for Panos here at Texas. It's clear skies greeting the races for this opening round of the American Le Mans Series 2001. And recovering after a spin, Bob Wallach and Johnny Molam's car. That's the Peterson Motorsports car. And Johnny Molam sharing with the veteran Bob Wallach. Molam, of course, racing in the championship last year as a privateer. Wallach was with the Dick Barber Racing Team as one of the factory-supported entries. And again, the JJ Lehto BMW involved. Lehto and Jörg Müller. And again, I have to say, I think through the window that looked as though that may have been JJ there doing the disrupting of the Porsche's natural line through the corner. Can't quite see if that was Brilliant Bob at the wheel, but it may well have been, judging from the flash of white on top of the helmet. Wallach at that stage, or this car at that stage, second in the GT class, incidentally. Disappointed to have struggled in '99 with the GT1 Porsche, which by that stage was past its race-by date, and even more disappointed last year not to have been able to get the Lola Porsche to work at all for the prototype class. Now he's got an Audi, and it seems to be working well. On board the BMW then, and this of course one of the new BMW Motorsport cars, and right behind it one of the PTG cars. And a big lock up there as they go head-to-head on brakes. Bill Oberlin and Nicholas Jonsson, the 10 car, and of course the 42 car, JJ Müller and JJ Lehto and Jörg Müller. Bill Oberlin racing for the Schnitzer team last year as a teammate to JJ. This year racing for Team PTG, head-to-head against him. And the two cars built by two different teams, but as you'd expect from the same basic starting point, looking remarkably similar. How the new BMW Motorsport M3 GTR will shape up is really anybody's guess, but we'll find out at Sebring. Now, in for changing a flat-spotted tyre is Jörg Müller. Müller had double-stinted the tyres on his M3, but because of that late-braking flat spot, that tactical advantage gone and forced in to change with less than half an hour of the race left. And the fourth place Panos, the black car of Gualter Sales, once more under intense pressure from the champion Audi. Look at this, in traffic and going around the outside of the PTG number 6 machine. And that's the Boris said Hans Stuck car as ever, staying with the same numbers as last year. Different lineup in the 10 car, but Stuck and said in the 6 car. This year, of course, the 10 car we've just seen, Bill Oberlin and Nicholas Jonsson, the Swede, got his first drive for the PTG team as a last-minute addition to the crew for Adelaide. Grabbed his helmet, and in fact, interesting story, Jonsson's wife persuaded him to spend a financial gift that they'd been given 6 months earlier as a wedding present on getting himself to Australia to drive as an unpaid chance for the PTG team, and that's rewarded itself with a full drive for Tom Milner's crew this year. And look at this, again, Dorsey Schroeder's Audi looks to be running well as he puts the move in there to take 4th place in the prototype class away from Klaus Graf, still running strongly behind. But this new car, the 07, which David Brabham and Jan Magnussen have had all weekend, going strongly. And here maybe is their chance, the 10 car of Nicholas Jonsson with a right rear puncture, shedding rubber and of course steel carcass from the tyre all over the place, and bits of carbon fibre bodywork being ripped off the BMW as he's on the infield, so his tyre's blown on the banking. Lucky to get away with that one. We saw what happened to Kelly Collins in the number 4 Corvette when he had a tyre blow on the banking. Now, Brabham has come round behind him and through all that debris. Will he be okay? Or will his tyre have picked up a puncture? A little piece of debris now could spell not just the end of his race, but really disaster. And Nick Jonsson, the Swede, struggling round in the 10 car, hoping to make it back to the pits, get a new tyre and finish this race as strongly as they can. Bill Oberlin and Jonsson having a good race in that car. Just minutes left in the race. And now for Capello, the anxious times waiting, as we've seen so often last year when Alan McNish started the race, sharing with Dindo, where he'd be standing on the pit wall, chewing what was left of his fingernails down to the knuckles, watching Capello eke out the final few moments in a closely fought finish. Well, this one now not going to be closely fought. It looked as though it may have been half an hour from the end. And then the closing stages now for Dindo Capello and Tom Christensen. Teammates Frank Bieler and Emanuele Pirro in second place behind them. David Brabham and his teammate will have to take third place. Jan Magnussen as final last-minute stages spin for Christophe Bouchou and Anthony Lazaro's Kelly Moss Motorsport 911. Bouchou will, on the underbelly, stuck in a chicane, the LMP 675 car of Mel Hawkins and Steve Knight. Their car boiling away, and they will have some serious cooling system work to do before they go to Sebring if they're to hope to even finish in their class, never mind win it. Well, around this distinctive banking comes Dorsey Schroeder. What am I talking about? Comes Tom Christensen. Dorsey Schroeder will do so in the champion Audi for fourth place, but it's Tom Christensen who wins. Dindo Capello on the pit wall, the other driver in the car, and it's a pole position and victory weekend for the #1 Audi. Champion Audi in fourth position. GTS victory to Ron Fellows and Johnny O'Connell in the surviving Works Corvette from the pair of Alex Job cars in 8th and 9th place, who won the GT class. And the best of the BMWs, Boris Said and Hans Stuck in 10th position. The BMW Motorsport car, the Schnitzer car, in 12th place with JJ Leto and Jürgen Müller. And there you can see further down the order the rest of the cars. And the moments of the weekend, perhaps not one that Kelly Collins will want to go through again too soon, but dramatic pictures of his high-speed accident, and he walked away from that one. Victory then in the opening race for Audi, but an American Le Mans series for 2001 that promises more than just German four-ringed domination. Stay with us on Eurosport and follow its progress. Till then, bye-bye.